Man, it trips me out how things are looking. Like everything just looks weird and it's moving weird. It's just so weird. Um, oh yeah, and Crystal was saying about with the CME things coming and how it was making everything super intense. And so whatever in our conversation, she was saying that she was noticing things about herself. Like she was finding herself gossiping, you know, and she hadn't done that in so long, and getting it just really irritable and stuff. That is what I think is what those energies are going to do. It's going to make you keep seeing yourself, like keep noticing yourself. Because I had even noticed yesterday too. Um, hold on a second, I got this tea. But I want to go out this morning real quick, and we're under all of a sudden we're under this big weather warning, and because of the electromagnetic thing. So Mom is still trying to zip out this morning. Is at the store they had my favorite kombuchas. And out here, if I go and buy one at the store, it's like almost $5. And they had a marked down for $2. And so I just bought 5 of them. And then well, I was been up in the middle of the night, of course. And then I went out and got video of the aurora, which I want to say something about too that I think is strange. But I want to go back over there this morning and see if there's some more. So I'm going to trek over there. It's an hour drive to go try and get $2 kombuchas. But anyways, if I get him a score. So, but I'm going to do that this morning. So hopefully this will get downloaded. And one thing, I don't know if anybody's noticed since I changed over to Ziply, how fast things are downloading. And you guys may not notice like how fast it is from the time I'm talking to how fast it goes on. It's like less than 2 hours now. And it used to be like 5 hours to download. So it's so much faster. I can't even believe it. And, hold on, let me get a drink of this. Because I'm trying to do everything fast. It's like, I don't like to go out on a Saturday. I was like, well, if I go early, then I won't run into so much stuff. But so yesterday when I was outside and my neighbor was home in the afternoon because she was waiting for a workman, and then he never showed. Then he said he was gonna be late, and then he just canceled, and she had taken off work and everything and was waiting for him to come, and moved everything around in her house. You know, when a workman is coming, you know, you got all prepared, and then he just canceled. And so she was irritated, and we were standing outside talking and letting the dogs play and stuff, and you know, just chatting about stuff. But then you do find these like things of like where when you start talking, I don't know, it does bring up this gossipy side of yourself. Just notice it, because I think we've all kind of relied on that. Like, you know, let's take the view off us. Let's talk about them. And, you know, we get in groups and we'll talk about that person over there, talk about what's going on over there, you know. And so, and she was just talking about, because her and her husband had split and stuff, and she was just talking about some stuff like that, you know, just, you know, that kind of stuff when you're more first into the separation and stuff. And, you know, they haven't separated all their stuff, so it was real easy. All of a sudden she saw, oh, he's already out there, you know, taking care of himself, like whatever it is, if he's getting serious with somebody or whatever it is. And, you know, and that's always hard too when you first split. But anyway, so we're just sitting there talking everything. And I come in, and these two people well, I heard a bunch of noise. And so I was watching out the window to see what it was. And first it was a guy on an ATV who pulled up. And so they just stopped right in front of my house. And so he pulls up first. And he has a little kid, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years old, sitting on the back of his, and he did have a helmet on, but he's just sitting on the back of this ATV holding on to dad. Like, this is so wild to me because, you know, well, I worked in the ER, so I have a different perspective than a lot of people, and that's what I want to share. And and it's just wild how people just don't think like, well, you need a car seat, and we're covered in, you know, we're in a little capsule, and you need a car seat. But out here, just hold on, kid, let's go. It's like, because I mean, in our society too, and I know the car seats, that was all like, back in the day when we drove around in big steel cars, people didn't have car seats, you know, and then when the cars were, there was still some bad wrecks, but nothing like what we have now. Like, this is all their shenanigans. And, you know, let's make plastic cars and let's go out there and have them all crash into each other and see who wins. And so, anyway, so he's sitting there and I can hear more coming. So I'll keep watching. And then, which one? It was like a smaller one pulls up next with a little kid driving it. And then a bigger one comes whipping around the corner. This was so wild. This bigger one comes whipping around the corner, and it's mom. It's mom. She's ready to go. And she's got the infant, I would say, I don't know, maybe a year or year and a half old. Like, it wasn't quite a toddler, a small child. And she's holding it on the front. So she's got it in her arms and got one hand on the wheel. He's got this one on the back, and then they got the other one in his own. He's ready to go. And then there's and they take off. We're not even supposed to go more than 20 miles an hour on this street. And we're in our own little neighborhood. But there's a lot of these people who go out in their dirt bikes and stuff, and they just think, hey, let's just, you know, take off and do a little race. I don't even know. And it's weird where they choose it, because you don't have perfect vision the whole time. Anything can run out, and there's a lot of animals and kids all over the place. So anyways, they're just like, vroom, and take off. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I couldn't even believe it. You know, that just triggered such a fucking gossip thing in me. I was just like, it hit me so hard. Oh my gosh, I got to gossip about this. And of course, you know, with my neighbor, because that's who I always talk about with what's going on around us. And so I started to write it, and then I was like, oh, that's judgmental. Oh, I don't want to say that. Oh, God, no. And so I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm not going to. And I was like, no, I got to say something, because it's still my perspective. It still is, you know, like, there's people who go around doing this shit. If they worked in the ER, they fucking wouldn't be doing this shit. And this is what is so wild, too. Because, hold on a second. Because, you know, we learn and we grow and we have different perspectives. And, you know, I didn't know anything about ATVs. Working in the ER, and then so many people have them. You know, they've got like, okay, each kid gets one. We've got one. Let's go. And there would be so many people who, you know, they're out in groups, ATV, and like, I mean, you go on trips to places, and they'll rent you ATVs to go out and stuff like that. But they're fucking dangerous as motherfucker. Like, it's the same as trampolines. Go find an orthopedic surgeon who says trampolines are a good idea. He's probably one that likes to make the money off of you. But the ATVs, it's like, when you see so many fucking parents come in, whole huge groups, whole fucking huge group, in there bawling and stuff like that, because the ATV, they're so quick to eat and easy to flip over. They land on kids' heads. They break kids' necks. They break their backs. Like, it's fucking devastating. These aren't like little, like, oh, you know, we fell off. You know, no, devastating fucking life-changing tragedies happen on those motherfuckers. And when you see them all the time, and you see the innocence of the people, you know, like, we're just out trying to have fun, and he just hit a rock and it just flipped and it landed on top of him, and then his brother was like, oh my gosh, it's fucking horrible. And so and that's another thing, like, there's no fucking way I'm going to get on your motorcycle. Like, the other day I was out, it's like, oh, perfect time. I'm going to make sure she sees. It's like, dude, I have seen you on it. Yeah, you look cool, but yeah, I'm not the next accessory on your cool journey to looking cool on your bike. No, that's not my role here in this world. And so anyways, but, you know, I'm not going to get on, because it's the same thing. Like, yesterday, or the last day that I went to the store, this was so crazy too. So I go and I take off on the road, and it's a state highway. So you're in one lane going each way, and you're head on collision territory. And this First, this fucking white ass pickup, which, you know, yeah, those guys are fucking aggressive as fuck. Big ass pickup comes barreling up. I'm going 5 miles over the speed limit already. Comes barreling up, flies over, passes me, keeps going. And then I'm just like, you know, looking at him thinking, geez, dude. You know, I don't know, just thinking whatever gossipy thing, you know, where are you going? Where do you think you're doing? Like, whatever. And then, so I didn't even notice the motorcycle just, just go whip out and somebody's coming. And so he whips out, passes me while somebody's coming. I'm like, these fuckers don't give a fuck, man. They're death wish. And then he goes out, passes a truck, does the same thing, just whips out when somebody else is coming. And it's like, oh my God, these crazy. Sometimes I can hear them driving. And I know not all of them. I'm sure, you know, this guy, he's a cruiser. But still, it's like, I honestly feel like the only reason you really want me to take a ride is because it's aesthetic. It's like, so, anyways, but the motorcycles are so fucking like, yeah, definitely ER and the doctors do call them like donor machine. It's they just look at it as like these are just organ donors. Like you're out riding a motorcycle, just figure at some point you're an organ donor. And hold on. And that's very much the attitude. People don't realize, like, there's a reason why, you know, I'm not going to sit there and say, like, I smoke weed, because it gets classified as a drug, and then you get classified as a drug addict and stuff like that, because they pay attention to that shit. And I know the shit that they pay attention to. I know the shit that they go and talk about in the back room. You know, what it is that gets you marked off of, like, who cares about them? And at the hospital, I just saw a fucking thing where a man, he was fed up with his wife because she cost too much in medical bills, and she was going in to get another dialysis treatment. And so he snuck in there, put a pillow over her face, strangled her. So had the pillow over her face, nobody could hear, strangled her, left her dead in the hospital, took off, and got caught. And now he's saying, well, that was his third attempt. He had been trying to fucking kill her the whole fucking time because he can't afford her. People are fuck. And then Amy also shared me this video with it was like Congress or whatever, those people who, you know, when they're talking, you get 5 minutes to talk, whatever, that group. And so they were talking about the technology, and that they have this technology that they're using on people that are making people think that they're crazy, making them do crazy things. And there's a whole thing about that girl who had, you know, stabbed her boyfriend and then threw her kids out the car and then drove herself into a tree. And she was, they're calling her an astrology influencer, but you know, they could be making all this shit up. Like, I didn't follow this girl beforehand. I know she was some sort of on, TikTok or Instagram or something, and she had a following, but they're saying that she was it was about astrology, and that she was freaking out about the eclipse, and she was telling people this is the end, this is Armageddon, and all sorts of stuff, like real freaking out about the whole thing. And but see, they can be doing something inside these people's minds. And if you don't know your fucking mind, and again, last night, they keep doing this, and you got to pay attention, because if you're not paying attention, they'll fucking get you. And, hold on. One cup and 3 gulps. If you don't have awareness in your head, not only that will they get you with their fucking crazy ass fucking technology and shit, make you think that it's your own self thinking these things, and they make you think you're seeing things, make you think you're hearing things, whatever it is. But you got to know your own head. But also, you got to realize that there is this spiritual attack as well. And these motherfuckers, they're sneaky. And, you know, when I talked about the one where I laid on my side, and once I shut my eyes, it was like immediately I was in another plane of existence. And it was dark, and I could see the light up ahead, and I kept focusing on the light, but it was pulling me towards it. as I focused on it, as I kept thinking, what is that light? It was pulling me towards it. And as it was pulling me towards it, I was feeling myself like disappear. I don't know how to explain it. It was really weird. And so I had to open my eyes and jolt back and shake my head like, get the fuck out of here. And that was the first one that I noticed. And then the next one I noticed was where I shut my eyes, and all of a sudden I was like at this mall kind of place, and these people were walking around, but there was this guy with like these blue eyes, and so it was hard to not notice him because he was like looking at me, and he was very catching to look at. And so I was looking at him, I looked over at him, and when I looked at him, he did the same thing. He started coming up, and it was like going into his eyeballs or something, like these portals. And so it was the same thing where I had to jump up and cut loose. And then sometimes you can shut your eyes for a second, they're just right there. And so it's like, like I'll start shaking my head and tell him, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my hair. Get the fuck out of my head. And then, but last night, it was, I was someplace, what was it? Because I had shut my eyes, and I was like, it was something like I was on a street or something, and I was walking or something, but there was this person who was walking like next to me or slower. And as soon as I started paying attention to them, that is something they want you to give them your attention. And then once you give them their attention, it's like they start sucking your energy or sucking your focus or something. I don't know how to explain it. It's fucking weird. And then he turned to look, and that's when I was like, oh, hell no. And so I did the same thing. I jolted back, and I started shaking my head and open my eyes and look around the room. Get yourself out of that space where they are. And so started looking around the room, shut my eyes for a second, still there, and open my eyes real quick. And I start saying, I speak a lot in telepathy to all of the energies that are out there, because I don't know, I was taught that from a young age. That's how they communicated to me. And so I started telling them, get the fuck out of here. And then it was like a couple of times I shut my eyes and it was still there. And so I kept fighting back, to push back. But there is, I don't really know, like if they're trying to get your interest to pull you in, and then somehow once you're pulled in, they go in and then they get more control of your mind or something, or they're trying to pull, I don't know. I can feel that something's not right. Something's off. And it isn't, normally you don't have these kind of things trying to pull you into their reality or something. So anyways, you got to realize there's a lot of supernatural stuff happening. And so that stuff is real. And then also, when all of these energies are coming in too, it is to get you to see yourself. So it is so that you can see yourself and see like, oh gosh, I get all gossipy. Why am I getting gossipy? What is it that I'm trying to do? And so I was thinking about that, am I trying to talk mean about these people I don't know, or am I trying to be judgmental? And I was thinking, well, they don't know. They're completely clueless. They wouldn't be doing that, driving like that on these things, holding your baby, racing your husband, like everyone's strapped on the back, let's go. I was like, what? But, they think that that's innocent fun. They're just out having a good time, which that is a part of their life journey. So I can't run out there, stop, listen, I worked at the, then I'm creating fear. Like, they should be allowed to go and live their life and do their thing. And if they have a devastating wreck that happens due to whatever it is they're doing, that's a part of their journey. I can't stop their journey. You're not supposed to even be interfering. But then there's also this other part where information can come to you, but it's rather, do you ignore it? Because that is when the signs are coming. So oftentimes people will say like a trampoline accident, and, their kid falls and breaks, their neck or something. And so then they, and that can be variable. There's certain breaks that can heal. And then there's like the girl who I had known when she broke her arm and shoulder and stuff so bad, whatever it was, like it was really, really bad. And it was like affected at the growth plate and stuff. So there's really bad injuries that can happen. But a lot of times then, people will have their accident or whatever, and they'll be like, man, I was just reading about this. Oh, I just saw a thing about this. And, but, they just have this like cognitive dissonance, like, oh, that won't happen to me. But that's like a sign. So you got to pay attention to the signs, because the signs are around you. And that's where you will go when an accident happens. You'll go back to question yourself, like, oh my God, I saw that. I had read that. I knew about that. And I just ignored it. It didn't even register. But if it doesn't register and you were ignoring it, because that's a part of your lesson plan, that's a part of what it is that you're there to learn and experience. And, there's like, we can see it all around us. There's a lot of people who are having horrible tragedies in their families, because that is a part of their experience too. Whatever it is that they're supposed to learn and grow and everything that they're supposed to go through in this encounter of living. So that is a part of their story. And you can't stop somebody's story. And whatever it is that the signs and symbols and whatever they miss, that is a part of their learning. So it isn't even like where you could go and say, well, I told you not to do that. That is, that then becomes your issue, because, why should somebody be listening to you just because you told them? How many people, like, somebody comes up and tells you something, you go, oh, okay, I'm going to do that. No, we all just like, okay, thanks. So it isn't our duty. It's kind of like our distraction. And the universe has a plan, like, whatever their plan is, and maybe they won't learn the devastation. I mean, I'm sure there's way more people who drive ATVs who don't have accidents. It's just wild when you have that perspective of what I have seen, and then seeing stuff like that. It's like, this is how it happens. This is how it happens. And, but, they have every right to have it happen for them, because whatever anybody goes through, those are your challenges, so that you can see yourself in a new, it's like, see yourself in a new light, see what you can overcome, see how you can turn things around, make things better, change your perspective, go from hate to love. Like, there's all this growth that occurs throughout all of the experiences. And so anyways, just like when you find yourself doing these things, these automatic responses that we've all done, being mad and angry at somebody, being gossipy, being irritable, just remember, this is you getting to see these sides of yourself. So you can be like, okay, well, is that how I really want to do it? Is that what I really want to do? How do I want to do it? I don't want to be automatic response. So it's just to recognize, and don't be hard on yourself. Like, if you do go out and, you find yourself gossiping, and it's like, because then you go back in and you have this time of reflection where you're like, oh man, why was I doing that? Why was I saying that? So you get to re-encounter yourself, so that you can reevaluate what it is that you do and say with your energy. And so there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Like, that's one thing that people have really got to get out of their minds, is that it is a mistake. No, it's a learning. It's not a mistake. It's just you getting a new opportunity to see yourself, so that you can reevaluate how you look at things. And so don't be hard on yourself. That's like kind of, to me, is kind of like the worst thing to do, is to keep being really hard on yourself, because then you just keep yourself beat down. And that's where they want to keep us, is beat down, feeling bad about ourselves, feeling like we're not worthy, we're not good enough. But the challenge in the game is to learn to love yourself, even if everything they're telling you is to make you hate everybody and hate yourself and everything, is to overcome their perspective and create your own perspective. So um, putting things into, what is that word? It's kind of putting things into perspective through reevaluation of how you look at things. Because this is all about this, this finding balance, this moral compass of finding your way through the gray and getting away from black and white, good and bad, but to find yourself in here and then find where you register. How do you feel? Like you feel a little this way, you feel a little that way, and then be able to shift around. Don't feel like, well, this is it. Be like, well, I mean, somebody could come in with new information and could completely, enlighten me in another direction. Where all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't even see that. Now I see that. Now I, gotta reevaluate. Like, how do I think about this? And that is something that is going on so strong, I think, in our society, in the collective. Why so much stuff just keeps coming up and all these different perspectives and all these different ways of looking at it. I was just running. So that is all so that to keep is to because it'd be simple, if it was just like, oh, one thing, and then we did it and was like, oh, okay, so now I look at this differently. But no, it's like a lot of things, and it's one thing after another, and it can change you from looking at things one way and then into being completely looking at things a different way. And that is a part of what's happening as well. And that is the part of the flipping. Everything is going to be seen in a completely different way than how people are looking at things now. So however the people are looking at it now is with limited perspective. But then when the light comes in, it's like the lights come on. It's like everything is revealed. Then it's a reevaluation. So this is kind of like the precursor. This is the pre-show. This is where you get to notice, the little things, like notice these little things that you do and say and how the energy affects you. And the best thing to do is have the awareness of that, to notice yourself, to be like, oh man, I was getting a little gossipy there. I was getting a little angry there. And notice those things about yourself, because there's so many people who don't, and they're just confused. Like, why is my life going this direction? Why are my relationships like this? Why this? Why that? But they have no self-awareness. So you just don't realize how, so many people don't realize how their worst enemy is themselves. And that once they promote themselves, once they give themselves boundaries, once they give themselves value, once they give themselves, cut themselves some slack, then, it's like you become brighter, you become more dense of like color and vibration or something when you give to you. So when you are giving back to yourself, and that doesn't mean just like where people think, oh, well, that means I got to go buy myself something. I got to go buy myself something to make myself feel special. No, it's giving time is probably the most valuable thing you can give to anybody, because your time it's yours. It's like, and you don't know where it ends, we're going to get more control of that as things go on. We're going to get more, I still think it's something about the separation from seeing yourself as the flesh and blood and seeing yourself as the energy, so that, because nothing can hurt you. And once you understand that you can't, this is an illusion. But I still don't know, like, of all the people who are here to go forward into the age of Aquarius, like, there still can be tons and tons of lessons, and still there can be people doing all the best work, doing everything right, but they still could be leaving this as that person. They still may not ascend as that person, and they may come in, because there's a whole thing on these different QHHTs and stuff where a lot of people who have already passed are already at age of Aquarius. They're already there waiting for us. That we're taking the long route to get there, but they're already there. And then there was things I had heard too where they were already preparing it and stuff. And so, and it is like this reality jump because even in our space, in our space, there's other realities around us, but it is all by vibration. So the space at a higher vibration, I could see how there could be, because there can be things in lower vibration that are all around us and we can't see them. Even like what I'm talking about, like when you close your eyes and you go into that space, if you can see, it's like these fucking beings are closing in on us or something. And I don't know how, I don't know, because it feels like they get access into your mind or something, but I think it's more of our state of consciousness going into different like realms. And but then if you don't realize like, oh, I'm in a different space, then they can pull you, like, I don't know, like there's all sorts of weird stuff if you watch ghost movies and stuff, like where they say they can take you over and stuff. But when you see some of the stuff that's going on around us on this planet, then you're thinking, like, they're definitely taking people over. And they darker entities, or I swear to God, men in black kind of beings, like these what are these things? They're like the secret space program, only they're because not all the people in the secret space program are you know, like Corey Good and some of these other guys. Some of them, they were always trying to master this super soldier. And I don't even know. There could be some clone soldiers. There could be, but their goal is about control and no morals. Like, you don't have something inside of you that's telling you, no, don't do that, no. But that's the part that everybody's trying to, or that's the part that's trying to turn on in everybody, is that part that's internal. That's why I say you've got all the rules inside of you. You don't need a rule book like they want to push, which I saw a girl do a breakdown thing where she said, you know how it says Christians? She said, but really, if you think about it, it says Antichrist. And so she was saying, which I already know, like I've tried to tell religious people, like they are not telling you about like the real God, like the real creator, because that is about love and connection and unity and acceptance. And their teachings is very much, you know, destroy your enemy. That's a darker vibration. That's not a lighter vibration. Like, no creator would say, go in and, you know, destroy my creation. The creator would be able to destroy its own creation, for one thing. It doesn't need you to go do it. And so it's these people who want, you know, to get us to be immoral. They don't want us to have morals. They want us to be disconnected from our soul. They want us to be just hanging on their every word, giving them all of our energy, looking at them like they're gods. You know, that's how they see themselves. They see themselves as being like, so, you know, we're the peons, we're scared, and that they're the saviors, and that they, and it's just weird, like, because some of them are just old, like some of these fucking old ass fucking beings and stuff. Oh yeah, and I just saw a footage of like Jennifer Aniston or something being interviewed, and her eyes did some kind of fucking weird shit. Whereas like that's the shapeshifters, and then it's like fucking, you don't know, because she did come from a family where her family was already in, like her dad was a soap opera. Her mom might have been in a soap opera too, or maybe in movies, I don't know. But her family was already in that Hollywood scene. And so I think the worst thing is to be birthed into that, like, fuck. For parents who are, you know, here, take my child, make me famous. That, you know, so we don't know all of these different people's thing. I mean, like Anderson Cooper. There's a reason why some of these people are so wacky. They have been, you know, like, they've had to do a lot of weird shit. Like, fuck, when you hear some of this stuff, like, some of these people have had to watch a lot of kids be killed. Some of them have had to eat, like, all sorts of weird shit. Depends on where you are in that status quo, man. But, like, fuck, who knows? Like, if she was already taken out a while ago and they just use her form to shapeshift it because she had created a following during Friends, like, you know, she became so popular. And so, you know, I don't know. It's weird. Like, maybe she was a fucking shapeshifter the whole time. Maybe she was taken out at birth. Maybe she was just birthed as a shape. Like, I don't even know. There's just weird stuff. And all this weird stuff is going to keep coming and coming. Like, there's definitely shapeshifters. There's definitely clones. There's definitely people here who are fucking billion years old. And lots of people here who have no clue what they are or what this place is. But it's just, I don't know, it's important to shift your perspective into the understanding of what this place is more about spiritual than the physical. The physical is the trap, the lure, the chase your fucking dreams kind of situation. When you need to be chasing your internal, like what inside of you is your drive, what gets you wanting to get up in the morning and get you going. What is the thing that you just wish that you could do really good? You know, it's that focus on that, what is inside of you, that moves you towards you. But they don't want you to do that. They want you to be chasing money, the big one. They want everybody chasing money. And there's so much more stuff coming out about that too, about like, oh, well, all they do is make money. And so many people talking about like the devastation of what's going on. So many people are going homeless. So many people can't eat. And there's just one storm after another just wiping people's homes away. And the government could be doing things to help the people, you know, who pay the taxes, but instead they decide to just, you know, take that money. Like, I guess they've decided to go build a bridge on the moon. That's what I was saying about this stuff is supposed to be so absurd. So the people who are paying attention and hanging on all of the steps of what's going on, so it outrages them. So it wakes them up. So it's like, what the fuck? You're going to go build a fucking thing on the moon when we got people here who can't even eat, or we should be putting our money back into our own communities, but they're sending it everywhere else. And we have to go out and we have to work so hard. And, you know, they're going and spending, you know, some people's whole year wages. There's so many people who don't even make close to 75K. And they're spending it on one night out to go and, you know, show off their ugly dresses that they can't even walk in. It's like, what in the hell are they doing in this fucking party? Like, it's so fucking bougie. You know, like, here, somebody pick me up and carry me. And I kind of see it as them all walking down the halls being carted, like back in the day, you know, where like King Tut or something, and they'd have those slaves picking them up, carrying them, and then they would sit on their little thrones being carried by the, you know, the peons of the society. And that is what I just see it as, like, you know, just looking down on people. Like, there's not going to be anybody who's, you know, making the same amount of money as you is going to be carrying your motherfucking dress, right? So, you know, you got to go get the lower people. And then why the fuck are any of them carrying their goddamn dress? Like, fuck off. If you can't carry your goddamn dress, don't wear it. If you can't move in your clothes, like, what in the world are you doing? Go stand in a corner. Go fucking get hung on a wall. Like, it's mental. It's like, that is so much a dependency too. And that's why it's so outrageous, because we're moving into independency. So all this dependency is going to be so highlighted, where it's like absurd. Like women going out to show how rich and famous they are by wearing clothes that they can't even move around in. And then the absurdity with the fucking obnoxious different hair and all this stuff. And this boycott thing is really affecting them. Like Kim, I guess, has even done a video and then come out. She's very upset. She's lost like 9 million followers or something. Last I had heard 3 million, but now I've heard 9 million, but I don't know if that's all of her accounts together. And so if it's the same 3 million on all of her accounts or whatever, but she's losing following. All these different people are all losing following. And then you have all of these people who are, what are those people called? Not masters, people who are into whatever it is that these people rely on. And saying that this is the best way to hit them where it's going to hurt the most. Because marketing, people who are into marketing, talking about that this is the best way to hit them, because then the people who try and get them their brands and stuff, then they start looking as like, well, we're not going to have you, we're not going to pay you to represent our brands. You don't, like, if we go in and look, you don't have people who like you. Everybody doesn't like you. And so they're saying, like, when you go into their comments, the brands go in and read that and look. So all the people that are going in and saying all the mean stuff to him. But Kim did this video. She's very upset because people are being so mean and saying such mean things. And how can you do that? That is being such a bully. It's like, dude, this is the energy that you are putting out. So it's going to come back on you. You are putting that energy out into the world. You were looking down your nose at everybody. You've been snubbing everybody. So yeah, that energy is going to come back and hit you, and it's going to hurt. And this is where she could humble herself, but she's not going to. I mean, her family and all them, those kinds of people, I don't think are going to go forward. They're not going to go into Age of Aquarius. Their time is up. Like, they used their time. And their time had value to all of our society because it teaches us so much. There's a lot of lessons here for a lot of different people. So, but I don't think those kinds of people are going forward. It's going to be not like the downtrodden people are going forward, but it's like the people who could take themselves from nothing. It is like the hero's journey. Take themselves from nothing and make themselves into something. That is the energy that's going forward. That's why everybody gets these opportunities to learn and grow and promote themselves in a healthy way, is because that is the energy. And it's towards independence of how you view yourself, how you see yourself, how you treat others, like not thinking that somebody, just because you know something, well, they should know it too. It's like, no, not everybody worked at the hospital. Not everybody's seen the things I've seen. And so, and working in the ER too. Like, if you work in a hospital in certain floors, there's other things you don't know anything that goes on there. They don't know, how many people come in and die and don't leave the ER, and how many tragic things occur if you work in other floors and stuff. So they all have different perspectives. Like, if you talk to a nurse who works on the cardiac floor, she could tell you all sorts of stuff that, like other people may not know anything about, or somebody who works in ICU. Like, everybody has their own perspective, their own view, because everybody's reality is their own. And so, but you can't get upset and angry at somebody because they can't see what you have seen. You can share what you've seen. I did end up saying a message, and I said, those people who just went out, they're on the ATVs racing, they were just holding their kids. I said, danger, danger. Danger, Will Robinson. That's what always goes to my mind. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. And so she said, oh, yeah, I know them. And that really upsets me when they do that. And I was like, oh, well, if they had worked at the hospital, they wouldn't be doing that. Like, but, I mean, it probably depends on what department you worked in the hospital. I don't know. I haven't talked to every nurse at the hospital of what they know and stuff. But anyways, and maybe she would go and tell them, like, oh, I talked to a nurse and she said that was very dangerous. But they'd be like, so what? We're having fun, so that's what life is about. Go have fun. And then when something happens, it's supposed to happen, and you're supposed to go through it. And it's supposed to give you new perspective. And sometimes it is perspective of like, is fun the most important thing you're supposed to be doing? Maybe you're supposed to be thinking of your kids' safety first. Like, it's all different lessons. We're all different people. And like I've said before, it has to do with what your past lives are, what your past experiences are, whatever you're here to learn. It isn't just, it's set. It's a set plan. You have a set educational purpose in your life. So it's not just like, oh, well, if I notice this or get that or whatever. No, it's there for you. And yeah, if you don't notice, then there's repercussions. It is, I swear to God, so much about life has to do with choices and consequences. It's like making a choice and then seeing what the consequence is and then dealing with it and looking at it in a deeper way. And so much of everything has to do with you going and looking at yourself and understanding your own perspective, your own, that's how you have an expansion of your perspective, is to look at more things, to see more things. That's what I'm constantly trying to push. And the limitation that you create for yourself if you're in judgment of other people, because you create biases so that you don't acknowledge or listen to anybody else's information. Like the thing now with Trump, now you got these people who are so outraged. They're going after his kid. If he's going to be a delegate, then, he's open game. So you think that kids should be protected unless they come from this family? Then they're open game. So see, that is where you have to see inside yourself, your own attitude. And then you got to think, yo, why would I be like that about this kid? Like, what is wrong with me? Why? And the people will, could ka-ching themselves into, yo, I'm right. That is where you got to pull yourself back from your biases and start realizing, like, fuck, I don't even know this guy. I don't know his kid. I don't know his family. I mean, they talk about him on the news, like, so I trust what they're saying, because I sure the fuck don't know him. One thing, too, is that I had heard so many different people who do know the family personally, and they come out and give a very different perspective of this family than what the news does. Because the news, these are the two opposing forces. Like, they've got the people who are in charge are the ones that are trying to turn us against these people, because these people are the ones that are trying to get us to wake up and see, like, the fucking nonsense that's going on, the control, the illegal bullshit. And so, yeah, they want to keep talking bad about them and shutting them down so that you don't listen, so you don't see. And so many people don't, because of their own biases. And so, and all of that too, guys, I had just seen a video. Oh yeah, because this one where she was like, the politician, like the whole fucking thing, the whole thing with the red and blue, all the people who are all caught up in that. For one thing, the government is going down, like I said. The government's going to blow itself up. It's already, I bet you so many of these people are already arrested. And, but this is the big show, so we can see how criminal they are, so we get the hell what's going on. And so all these people who are already, shown this side of themselves. And but she was saying, so as the government goes, that all of the people, like, she was like, well, we're sure, we're not going to cause it, but we're sure not going to do anything about it. Like, we're not going to go call 911 for them. We're not going to go get a hose and put out the fire for them. Like, they burn themselves up. It's, this is what they've done to themselves. And, we're going to enjoy it, but we're not going to create it. And then she said, and, these people who are really hung up in it, like the ones that are very red and very blue, same thing. Like, if they're going to go down with it's like, yeah, you're going to go down with the ship. What did I fucking say before? I said, everything that you hold on to from this reality, you're holding on to it with a death grip, is going to hurt as it's ripped out of your hands, or you'll go down with the ship. And so you got to be able to pull yourself free. Pull yourself free from to me, the biggest thing to pull yourself free from is the biases, is to think that there's one side or the other. You know, everything where you feel that like, oh, they're on the other side, they're different than me. They're, you know, that is where you got to see like, well, why do I think they're different than me? You know, why can I not accept all these different people for being their own unique self and living their own experience? What is it I'm trying to control? What is it I'm trying to see and be and all that? So everything goes back to you so you can break through to the other side where you have the freedom to not give a fuck. It's like, okay, you know, you could go out there and get in a fucking wreck and your kid could be in a fucking... The worst thing too is like sometimes the you know, people get in so much fear of the death, like their kid dying, but sometimes it's your kid living and having a severe disability after. And you are having to care for that kid for all that time, always having to question yourself why you made the choices you did. And then it even becomes a point as people age and their kid is still requires so much help in the pressure that people feel of like, what's going to happen to my kid when I'm gone? And so there's a lot of lessons. There's a lot. Life is so much deeper and bigger than what like we're going towards that value to give the real understanding of what the significance is of the lessons that you go through and how it really is expanding you. It really is getting you to see things differently, to give you more compassion. You know, like people who have gone through horrible tragedies like that have so much compassion for the other people who deserve compassion, who are also going through that. It is like a bond that they all go through, just like this with, you know, those Will Smith's kid and Justin Bieber and their trauma bond. And it was kind of the video clip too that they keep on showing where he goes up and he starts like, uh, the Will Smith kid goes up behind Justin at this concert and starts like doing him from behind. And then Justin just turns around like, oh, hey. And it's like, man, these kids have been so fucked with. Man, just people in general. I mean, right now they've fucked with the youth so much. And in Florida, which is, you know, also don't forget that's where the leader or commander is at. And they have made it's a death penalty situation. And I told you this was in the executive orders, but now it's a death penalty situation. You mess with a kid. I think there's something about 12 years old. So if you go and you do something, I don't know what all the things are going to be, but they're going to keep being harsher and harsher penalties because they were even the ones that like these people who go and start saying that they're going to go change their kid's gender, even though there's a lot of pressure put on them from the schools and the medical and stuff to follow in that way because those are the people who are in control. But that if you go and do that, that they're going to take your kid away from you. And that was in Florida. And that's why so many people were freaking out and moving from Florida. And then they started saying that you do certain things, you know, and you're a parent or something, you're going to be looked at as child abuse, sex abuse, and all that stuff. So they're changing a lot of the rules. And then now they've made a death penalty thing. And that's going to be more and more. That's just to get people to notice and to talk. But there's going to be more and more. Like there's going to be, because these were already written. And it's in the executive orders. And he didn't just do it for Florida. He did it for, it was like these clauses. He was like doing all these executive order things while it was during 2020, because it was like every day, I swear to God, he would do these live things. And I would go in and I would watch. And there were so many where he would sit and sign these things. And there was, and this is back when, you know, all these people were live on YouTube and stuff. It was very fun at that time. Even though there was so much bullshit that went on, it was still really fun. I was talking to so many people and I was talking to people on the other side. And as soon as you have empathy for the other side, the side you're on thinks you're the enemy. It's just so wild how this all is playing out and stuff. But it's all, you know, for you to see in your own self how you look at things. But there was I just remember knowing and seeing all this stuff about the executive order things and these clauses and stuff. And the things that stood out to me was the crimes against kids is going to be, that's it for you. And so when you keep seeing all these things happening, and, you know, like these guys beating these kids to death, these moms beating these kids to death and stuff, I'm like, fuck. And they're saying they're going to jail for 30 or 50 years. I'm thinking, I don't know. I think there's going to be, I don't think we're going to have a huge prison system up in our future. There's going to be a lot of, there's going to be some changes. And, but the other thing too was that all the people who have done any crimes against us, that they lose all their stuff. So all their money, everything is confiscated. And that's when, you know, all these rich guys keep buying all this land, like Gator, and even, what's the guy from Amazon? All these different ones, Zuck, all these guys buying all this land. And I keep thinking, this is a show. This is the land that's going to be given away, because this is, they don't get it. They're already, we wouldn't be seeing about their crimes if the NSA hadn't already seen. Like, they're already being held accountable for their crimes. Like, there's no fucking way I believe Gator's still out there. I don't believe Hanks is still out there. There's a lot of people I think are long gone, just like Joe. And, you know, and the thing too is with Joe is, you know, their thing about, you know, making him look a fool. And because that's like showing his real self. Like this, it was easy for these people to go out and put on a suit and put on a fake smile and trick people into thinking that they were decent. But now it's showing more of like what these people are at their core, the things that are coming up. You know, like, I mean, he was sexually assaulting his own family. He's all on any kid that comes near him or something. So anyways, more and more stuff is going to keep coming. But these people who have done these crimes against us and stuff, it's, I think that there will be, in this penalty phase. There's going to be so much stuff more about treason. But I think some of this stuff will be kind of like lessons, like for people to see. Like a lot of these kids and stuff that have got themselves involved with what, you know, this group that's infiltrated over here, and they don't realize like some of the stuff that they're doing is going to be kind of like lessons. Like, I don't think all these kids are going to be, you know, getting the death penalty or something, but there's going to be a lot of that death penalty. There's going to be a lot of people like from churches, from fucking CPS, like all sorts of places that did like look the other way, sign their name. And there's, what was that I had just seen? Something about the kid, the whole thing with this foster system and this child stealing and stuff, it is very criminal. There's a lot of fucking crimes and stuff. And so there's a lot of people involved in that kind of stuff. And I think it's going to be on all levels. And the tribunal things are way faster. They don't fuck around. They, like, and they're adding more of those rooms in. You gotta think, this isn't just all for politicians. This is, like I've said, like, you're gonna have doctors, lawyers, journalists, CPS workers, social workers, all these kinds of people are gonna be facing certain crimes and stuff. And my daughter had just told me, because the one that runs there is the CEO. She had told me some of the stuff that she was doing. I was like, man, that woman's going to be going down. You watch. She's going to have, shit's going to go down in her life. And then my daughter told me a couple days ago that she was at the car wash and she did something and took off and ran over a couple of kids and then just took off. So I don't know. There's going to be, and a part of it too is, I don't know if it is like the people who are in this dark energy, who feed off that dark energy. If it's weird, because it's kind of like they're kind of get more lost. Like the light comes in, exposing more, and they have more that they're trying to hide. So, but there's going to be no hiding. No hiding who you are, no hiding the truth. You know, what you are, who you are, what you stand for is going to show. And it's going to be showing to you. Like right now, so many people can see other people and the people can't see themselves. But this is, you know, where you get to start seeing yourself. But you see yourself, don't forget, is to make changes, to tweak it the way you want. Just because you see yourself, you're not supposed to just go, oh, yuck, I hate myself. I'm the worst person in the whole wide world. I can't believe I'm this way. I can't believe I'm that way. No, you're supposed to be seeing yourself and be like, oh, I do that. Why do I do that? Oh, somebody hurt me. And then I got my, you know, and it made me look at things a certain way. And so it's just going through it so you can understand yourself is the releasing it. You don't have to stay the way that you are. You don't have to change for anyone else. It's you. It's you who has to see, not, you know, change because they want you to, change because they want you to, because they told you how to do it. No, you starting to understand you and make the changes you want for you. So that is this opportunity for expansion. That's the ascension. That's the letting go of all of this stuff. And that is the energy that is coming into the planet. And that is the energy right now. You can use it to your benefit so that you can continue to make the changes that you want to make. But the energy is going to keep being more and more and more and more. Like, and anyone who's resistant to it is going to become all that they can see. All you're going to be able to see is your own mistakes, your own behavior. And, but that, just remember, it's so you can heal it, so you can do better, so you can grow. So, and there's going to continue to be challenges. And there's going to continue to be people who are whacked out. That's for sure. Where they just, I mean, the way they drive and stuff. And they're just, I don't know, they're just in their own little worlds or something. Like every time I go out on the driving, like I don't even like to go out and do anything because it's so chaotic. That's why I'm gonna finish this and I'm gonna go ahead and go and run out and get my stuff before it gets too crazy out there. And so this will probably take a little bit longer to download. I may not even start trying until I get back. I don't know. So anyways, but just whatever is going on, and it's going to keep picking up, like, and, you know, we're close to this changing, it's like the changing of the guards. Like it's a completely new energy that it is going to be, but it's going to be very, very uncomfortable. If you're comfortable in the dark, you're going to be uncomfortable in the light. This slow transition is the occurrence to get you to take action before you get to the part that's super uncomfortable, because it's going to keep building. And so everything you notice are opportunities to make adjustments in yourself. And so do everything you can to get off of like looking at other people as, well, they need to do this and they need to do that. Just keep bringing it back to you. But why am I looking at it like that? Why am I seeing that? What am I noticing that for? Why do I think that? You know, and so you can make your adjustments, because when the light comes on, that is going to be very intense. I'm telling you, there's going to be so many people that are so comfortable in the dark. They're going to be so uncomfortable in the light, because they're going to feel so good. Everybody can see them. Everybody knows exactly what they think and how they feel and what they've done. And whatever you have done, you've got to find forgiveness for yourself. You don't want to be like Kim, you know, well, you guys are so mean to me. God, that's not fair. I'm going to hunt you down. She said she's going to hunt them all down. And then she goes, well, you know, because, yeah, you're going to notice that you're saying stupid ass shit too. And so, you know, and just take more time with yourself and then give yourself mercy. Don't be so angry at yourself. But, you know, but humble yourself, you know, be able to call yourself out and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But, you know, I'm moving forward. I'm learning from my mistakes, and you know, you'll be fine. It's going to be rough though. Like, but this will be a point for you to be able to see like how much of yourself stays hidden from you. You know, and don't get caught up in what everybody else thinks. That's a part of what you're trying to learn and grow from too, is worrying about what everybody else thinks of you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake in this person's eyes. In this person's eyes, you're fucking doing great. So don't fucking get all caught up. You can't please everybody, and everybody has different things that they need. So what it is you've got to discover is what it is you need, how it is that you need to feel good, how you can feel good about yourself. And all of our behaviors that we have become accustomed to, toxic behaviors in the ways that we've been programmed and stuff, are all going to be uncomfortable. Those are all things for you to break free from, because that's not our future. Our future is way more about freedom and acceptance. And, you're not going to waste time, deciphering what someone else should do with their life. Yeah, we're going to get a lot more of like in the flow of like, yeah, do your thing. It's your lessons, it's your life, and allowing people to live their truth and discover who they are and learn their lessons through the plan that they came to experience. So, anyways, there's going to be a big change, but we are the change. We're the ones who have to make the changes so that we can be the change. And the change is going to occur. Like, this is all happening. It's going to occur. And last night, I went to sleep early. I was so tired. And then Stella woke up like 11:30 and she wanted to go out. And so then I saw my phone that the neighbor was texting, and she was sending pictures of the aurora and asking if I'd seen it. So I went out and I did some videos. And the thing that's weird is when you look up, you can't really see it. Like if you're in some places where it's the aurora, you can see the colors going. And it just is kind of weird is how we have to look through our phones to see it. Like, are they doing something through AI to give us this false aurora or something? Like, I don't know. This is supposed to be because all these CMEs and stuff are coming. All this energetic pulsations or whatever, and it's creating this aurora. But when you go outside, like I could see some lines and stuff, but then even when I looked up through my phone, which I got the videos, I shared them, but I kept seeing like kind of like a something in it, like a lens line or something. I was like, this is weird. And it would move. So I was like, I don't know. There's just something weird about it. And it's another way to keep like everybody talking about it. And there's just so many things, because it can be distracting you from stuff that's going on. Everything that they want to distract you from is healing. So they want to keep you, shifting. And a lot of people, because they're not doing their healing, they're in total fear of rapture, total fear of Armageddon, total fear of all of that stuff. That's where they want to keep people desperate and scared. So, and it's way better to see like we're in a shift, we're in a cycle, we're breaking free from one cycle, going into another cycle, we're leaving one age, going into another age. The age is so significantly different that we have to make changes in order to get there. So those are the things that are happening, but they do want to keep you distracted, like with the fucking all these different the eclipse had them all going, but now it's the aurora, and it's supposed to be tonight everywhere. And I don't know, it was weird to me. So I'll still go out and do another one. I'll go out and look again tonight and see. But I don't know, I've definitely seen the aurora. And definitely you don't need to look through the thing. And they kept saying on the news, like I saw people sharing clips, well, if you can't see it, just look through your phone and then you can. I was like, well, that's suspicious. But then when you go out and you do it, and it's like, I don't know. Like, everything is such bullshit. So anyways, you got to just use your own discernment on everything and just go with the flow. And just the most important thing is self-reflection, to look at yourself and to decide, if this is what you think and how you think and what drives your thinking, and working towards relieving yourself of all your biases, to be able to look at everybody as equal. Everybody, we're all the same. And some people are caught up in this fear, some people are caught up in this fear, and there's opposing fears and stuff, but we're all the same. So just try and remember that. And remember, you got to remember how to love yourself and love all of them, love everyone. And it's up to you to make the choice to have a loving day. It's, you know, you've got to make that choice to love yourself, love everyone, and have a loving day. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.